iterations.
The good old days.
Yeah, the good old days indeed.
You can backdate them how old they are if you count the chins. You know?
It's applicable for both of us, actually.
You know how trees have like aging rings?
Those rings,
cut them
yeah.
over? Yeah, that's the same with the 1, 2, 3 chins and
Well,
down.
that's good. You've turned things around, got healthy.
I was talking about you.
Oh, cold. For me, the biggest thing that changes, my hair is less crap.
And the amount of eyebrow piercings.
Yeah, I mean, true. I mean,
it goes from 0 to too many.
it's a criticism I've heard a whole lot. We're not seeing anything special, no shenanigans in picks and bans, except the Rengar's banned. So what is H2K first pick?
Let's see, is Malzahar open? The preferential first pick for a lot of teams here, European LCS. Malzahar could definitely be worthy. Lulu is out of... Okay, Malzahar's banned. I'm blind. Why did they put it there? Why do we keep moving where we put the bans? Malzahar definitely not going to be first pick because it is banned, Trevor. So yeah, Graves seemed like a likely option, especially since Origen their answer to Rengar was Rek'Sai. I think you just take a really strong jungler here then, again, if you're H2K.
Yeah, that's exactly what Jankos has done. Origen, they went Ashe Rumble, first rotation previous game.
Ashe Karma for me. Give me Ashe Karma. If you're them. You may still lose to a great Tahm Kench player, but just get some push on that bot lane. Just AFK push. Focus on camping mid.
I'm waiting for the Karma.
Yes.
Or Zyra. Would we accept a Zyra?
I mean, at this point, like, we're in the same draft. Yeah, Zyra would be fun too. Oh,
yeah, all right, so maybe.
The problem is they haven't banned Zyra this time, so...
Okay, right.
It's actually still not that easy.
If you were H2K, would you go Zyra or Tahm Kench in this first rotation? At least match support for support and ban something else?
I mean, knowing them, I think they go AD carry top here instead. And they just say, you know what, Chei can play so many champions in the bottom lane.
Do they just take Shen again?
They could. Nautilus is open too if they want to play that. But I definitely think you want to solidify what AD carry you want, so the Varus makes sense. Nuclear likes the CC, it still has really strong laning. And then, yeah, because otherwise you can get squeezed pretty hard in top lane and then first picked on the other side of Origen.
All right, a few seconds left before we find out what H2K decide to lock in. Going to pivot ever so slightly. Okay. Lock in that Orianna. It was banned out in the previous game.
It's in a similar vein because a lot of the top tier mid laners in Europe right now, they think like Syndra and Orianna are two of the strongest blind picks. If you're in the LCK, Taliyah is on that list in terms of kind of push and play on side lanes, but Europe really hasn't adopted that yet. LCK definitely plays slightly different there. So in that sense, Orianna is the strongest blind pick remaining, and you can just lock it in already and then cater the rest of your draft to whatever you need.
And you talked about side lanes and push, and how Febiven not necessarily one of the most confident in pushing all the way to inner towers.
Yeah,
and how
it's different though. In the Taliyah gameplay pattern, it's actually you keep the lane standard. She pushes out mid with her kind of oppressive Q spam, and then she just walls to the bottom lane and ganks you. And you just get constant side lane pressure doing that. And then obviously later you switch it up and she can move from any lane to any other. It's like a TF. A TF that only has access to like one lane, but it's enough. And that's why people play so much Taliyah. But yeah, Orianna super strong, especially if you look at laning ability. Febiven was already up like 20 CS earlier. This guy knows how to punish matchups.
Oh, it's really interesting you actually say that, Mitch. He was up 34 CS at 10 minutes.
Granted, the analyst has made a really good point of when that kill happened, 2.5 waves crashed into the turret. And obviously there was a big XP differential because of that. Not even a Hex Drinker could save that one.
Nope, not when you're down that huge an amount in a difficult matchup. We did see a pivot in the jungle. No Rek'Sai, it's the Lee Sin.
We asked for pushing bot lane, we got it. We asked for playmaking potential and potential sprinkles of hope in terms of the jungle. We got that from the Lee Sin. So far, this Origen draft thematically makes sense.
Yeah, looks good on paper.
Yeah.
And now we need to see if it looks good in the game. Zyra banned away. Is Tahm Kench the next one to follow? No, it'll be Nautilus instead.
So they've removed that really strong top lane pick in Nautilus. H2K banned out Rumble themselves. Let's see what's left here that they could pick that is super strong. In terms of like S tier picks like Nautilus, Rumble, really on top of kind of the food chain there. Camille could not be picked because she's banned. This time I'm looking.
I keep thinking Shen. I can't get away from this.
Yeah, so like if H2K do not ban Shen, that'd actually be a decent pick here for Origen.
What would Odo run into it if Origen locked this in? It's going to be a LeBlanc removed from the table. And Gragas is the other thing that we've seen quite a fair amount of here in EU.
So Odo could still play Shen here, but I think Gragas is a fine matchup into it. It also just has that engage. I like it. It's just like body slam flash engage, Lee Sin kick flank, you have the arrow, and then you get the counter pick in mid.
I should also tell you that of Origen's 2 games they've won this split, Satorius was playing Gragas in both of them. Okay, you said that sprinkle of Fiesta.
I think we're done here.
You know,
I think we just go to break and go to game 3.
this is Satorius's highest win percentage champion in the spring split at 33%.
His only win.
It still counts. Yeah, I mean, it's 2 and 4, but it counts. And the counter into the Gragas for Odo is going to be Kennen. We're expecting it to be that kind of split push style, I imagine.
Yeah, so AD Kennen rather is really good at abusing kind of tank matchups. So obviously they have the damage to kill him instantaneously, and he just whittles them down and eventually just wins any side lane duel. The problem is he is absolutely garbage in teamfights. So if he ever falls behind and H2K is forced to teamfight against a kind of a rapidly moving Origen on the map, then there's a lot of weight on this pick, right? Yeah. So there is a scenario where Origen, if they get through the early game and they just kind of go what they call like ARAM style, you just group up, you go for a fight, and you force them to fight you 5v4 or 5v4.5 with a small Yordle. And there's a scenario where that wins out.
Okay, so some more sprinkles of hope for Origen.
Yep.
For their mid laner, they're going to add another new mid lane champion for NaeHyun. It's going to be his first Zilean of the split. How does this round out the OG comp? I feel like there's not a lot of damage as the game progresses.
Yeah, but you're weighing that off against, in terms of just a team fight comp, like Kennen really doesn't bring that much either.
Okay.
Himself, because he really has to ramp up and then find isolated targets. And a Zilean double bomb does surprisingly large amount of damage, and also there's just so much crowd control effects. And you can weigh off, in a damage race, obviously you get an extra life, right? With the Zilean ulti, so you're playing 5v6, so the trade-off is okay. It all depends if they can just keep Tabzz enabled. He has to shine in these team fights. He really has to choose his moments to step in, proc that Q, and then go to town.
Well, H2K are coming up against a team composition that has a lot of zoning and tools on the side of Origen.
Yeah, the problem is I'm really afraid of the 2v2 matchup because I don't think Thresh is great in this matchup, but I think if there's a skill disparity, Thresh becomes great in the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, xpeke ate so many skill shots in the previous game. He's got a movement speed increase this time around with Karma. Maybe that'll help him get away from those death sentences. We didn't check in with the fan vote in the previous game. Hashtag H2K win or hashtag OG win. H2K are 1-0 up in the series, and it's after picks and bans, but before a 6-0 lead. So
yeah,
voting is permitted. Right? You tried to break the rules yesterday. Krepo, I saw that. Team was up 6,000 gold. You jumped in there.
I mean, you're supposed to hype the matchup here as it starts shouting.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Origen, what could be their last game on the LCS stage as they take on H2K. Will we go to a decider? Will Origen go into the promotion tournament with the worst win percentage in EU LCS history? Let's find out. It's hard to do. This is a tough match to hype.
Let it ride. When you watch online, that silence is actually quite comforting.
Okay.
You don't have to feel everything. That's great.
Thanks, dude.
Up until where you start doubting yourself.
Yeah.
Story of your life, eh?
It is. Yeah. Self-doubt. It's a killer.
It's a killer. Who else is a killer? NaeHyun on the Zilean. He's just gonna double bomb people left and right. He is the man to watch in this matchup.
And he has teleport.
And yeah, stuff. Yeah.
So we can help out any of these team fights.
I mean, just try and envision it. Oh, imagine a world where the arrow comes out, double TP lands, body slam flash. Yori will put one bomb down. The guy flies into the bomb, and then NaeHyun puts the second one on him. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful. I'm imagining it. All Origen fans out there, send Origen your power. See if they can create that double spirit bomb.
That's the thing about Pekka. His man has played so many games in his career. Even losing 10 or 15 or 20 doesn't put him down. He walks up with confidence.
Luckily, Karma is also going to be a champion that'll be a little bit more in his comfort wheelhouse.
Not so confident, though. They've used all 3 wards already on the bot side. That means... Because trinket cooldowns aren't really displayed that well. But they've used way too many wards early, which means actually if Jankos would punish, he could definitely get an opening there.
So in the previous game, Jankos went for that little cheeky start on Rengar, getting those stacks up early. This time around, invading onto Cinkroff's red buff and a Raptor camp. He had some support from Odo, and it looks like Cinkroff will at least mirror on the other side.
Yeah, Cinkroff going for a buff to buff. He has been spotted. Jankos went for small Raptors only into red buff. He really doesn't want to get collapsed on. Now that he sees that he's safe and there's no kind of immediate reaction, he's going to just keep jungling. This delays Cinkroff a bit. Buff to buff isn't that efficient. We'll see if Pekka can invade too. This may be like a preemptive counter to his bot lane being pushed in as well, you know? Because that is the natural pattern what you could see. I think Cinkroff was always planning to make this move with xpeke pushing in. It is how you play around the pushing bot lane. Jankos, he is quite smart in looking at the map and how things usually play out and adapts for it rather.
And that means that Jankos is currently sort of trading jungle. Pretty happy to play in the top half of the map. Of course, Odo's pushing towards Satorius, so going to be some quicker support if needed.
But they know right now. You saw Origen, they sent a Hawkshot up to the top left side. They revealed Gromp, Wolves, and Blue Buff, so they know exactly that their jungle is gone, and that's why they pinged it. They pinged the left top side jungle, just like, okay, Jankos was there, he started there. So now Cinkroff knows that he really has to make those last 2 camps last.
It's such a good tool, Hawkshot, that we actually don't spend a huge amount of time talking about, because the amount of information that it can provide can be game-changing.
One deep ward and a well-placed Hawkshot can just neutralize any opponent's action for well over like 2 minutes, if you play it right. Because right now, like, they know Jankos wasn't on his 3 camps, right? He's been jungling for over like a minute and a half. They know exactly which camps he's probably done on the top side of the map, which means he's probably not doing the top left side. Which means Origen, they don't have to ward yet. Like, unless this guy based and goes for like a buy into gank, they don't have to ward just yet. They could have waited until right now to place their wards again and then be safe. Yeah. Like, you can really deduce predictable jungle patterns based on where they start, what time in the game it is, and what kind of champ they're playing.
And it's a team effort as well, isn't it? You know, highlighting the vision and then discussing it and also planning. Once you get that information, it is talking about what happens in the next 2 minutes, what possibilities there are open to you.
And it also helps if you just play a role a couple of times, because you will learn it so much faster if you just play a couple of jungle games and you're like, damn, these camps actually take a while to clear for me. I can't just gank everywhere. Just like NaeHyun is getting ganked in the mid lane.
Alright, flashes away, and that's flash for flash. Jankos decides to go aggressive. End of the line comes out. There's one bomb. NaeHyun's very low on mana. First blood picked up by Cinkroff. He's not done. Looking for Febiven. Origen get a double kill.
And the fiesta has started. And by the fiesta, I mean a really good counter gank for Cinkroff right here. We saw actually Febiven do a really sweet move. He moved forward to block the Q from Cinkroff, thinking it was enough to save Jankos. But in doing so, he condemned himself to a death as well. They lose both summoners. Look at the xpeke, what a beautiful...
He sidesteps.
Front steps even.
Yeah, aggressively. And here's that replay.
Yeah, so like NaeHyun, he baits the flash, he gets away from the wall too, so he doesn't get bopped there. Cinkroff plays this really well. Look at that Febiven soaks the Q, then that bomb ticks and hits both of them. And honestly, yeah, this is just... It's a greedy flash forward from Jankos. That is the mistake in this entire play. It was great up to that point, and then Febiven is stuck in the I think I can mentality. Yeah. I think I can save this guy. I think I can intimidate Rivington. Because he always says that.
And unfortunately, he cannot today.
I don't have the beard.
I'll wait for... Nobody does. No. It's particularly glorious at the moment, actually.
Yep. Quite lavish.
Yeah, there we go. Jankos, though, he was talking in the pre-game chat about going Super Saiyan. Hasn't quite hit it yet.
I mean, was Goku the first one to go Super Saiyan in the series?
He was, yes.
He also died a lot in the process.
Yes.
So technically, Jankos is right on track here. Febiven.
All right, take a look. Febiven's going to be able to escape for now.
That's deep.
Bomb actually hits him on the head.
Oh, Chei!
Chei saves Febiven.
Chei saves the day right there. With the flash lantern, nota bene. Not just a lantern. This guy, he saw it coming. He was reading the map. He looked into the future and he said, I'm going to be a hero. And now he's playing without flash because his mid lane was getting caught.
Yeah. And that means Origen not going to get their 3rd kill of the game, but at least they've started off pretty well. You said that thing about Super Saiyan, it's triggered me a little bit, and I was thinking about it. I think technically the first Super Saiyan was Brawly.
I think Peck is getting caught.
He is. Is there enough damage to kill him? He's got Flash and Ignite. Can turn that one around.
When did Brawly come into the series?
He was a film, standalone film.
Yeah.
And then after he died, he was such a cool enemy that actually brought him back in later days. But yeah, I was just thinking about it, distracted us. Odoamne is going to use an LT to survive the engage by Satorius. Tower dive, Cinkroff, Sonic Wave, point blank, lands it with a kick.
Oh, I'm actually loving the synergy here. Satorius preemptively just body slamming to lock Odoamne, so he can't flash. And then Cinkroff follows up and he gets the kill. I'm loving this Lee Sin play, and this guy is finally getting an opportunity to shine here, not afraid on the big stage.
Yeah, very nice start to the game. Origen 2,000 gold up already. Reactionary plays on a playmaking champion. Yeah. Why was Rek'Sai picked in the previous game, Cinkroff, if this is what you can do on Lee Sin?
I mean, they definitely need a little bit of luck too, you know?
The opportunity presented
Jankos will not always dash in to feed you 2 kills. Regardless, they punished it. Febiven is now down cleanse, which it also changes everything. Like these flashes being burned, it means Chei can no longer play super forward in the lane either, because he's actually at risk of Peke self-channeling shield and then going for a Mantra W and just locking him down and just killing the Thresh straight up. So there's all these things that you have to think about. Cinkroff becomes the bomb. Obviously that then goes to NaeHyun.
And that means Origen, game 2, they picked a slightly different style of team composition, played the early laning phase well, punished mistakes. What do they do next? Now, you've talked about how Peke can kind of kill Chei without flash, but what does the rest of the team want to do?
I mean, it is so important that they got that early gank in the top lane, because again, the one breaking point to kind of accelerate the game is if Odoamne can keep making picks on the side lane, right? That was our one fear if we are Origen. And this guy has also been slowed down. This is something what I almost want to call like a Jankos signature move. Whenever there is any chance that he can, on blue side, dash over the wall to take the dragon, he does that. Because H2K generally have really strong lanes when they play that neutralize, and they have an idea of where the enemy jungler is, and they always find a way to get the jungler, get the dragon here. So I think this is a product of poor base timings from Origen. But this doesn't really play into effect. Everybody's like, oh yeah, the Infernal. But it's not strong in the early game, so for now, it doesn't really matter too much.
It's an investment to later, right? Yeah. And that's actually important for H2K because they're down in gold. So if the game state stays even for another 10 minutes, then Infernal starts to begin paying dividends and balance out the gold deficit they find themselves in.
I Cinkroff, this is a bit greedy of a gank path. Like, you have to assume this is ward, so they have to synergize it very well and not step out of the brush.
No, step onto the ward. Also, we quickly caught a glimpse of H2K vision. Krepo, you can see H2K heavily invested in that bottom right quadrant.
That, like, this is games where H2K win on like, the value of deep vision and macro, but you're not supposed to...
Ooh, follow it, follow it, follow it.
Yeah,
Cinkroff follows it. Lee Syndrome dashes forward, enlists the Gromp to help out. Jankos is going to use end of the line to buy some time. Oh. The barrel sends Jankos packing. That's Origen with another kill.
Yeah, NaeHyun didn't even have to flash to get that ulti off here. He knew he had the backup for his team, so he's honestly hyper confident. When around at that point, Chei should not be allowed to walk into the enemy jungle without flash and place these 3 wards that deeply. If you do that versus Koreans, there will be some guy waiting around a corner and he'll just hit you in the head and you'll die and the game's over. Like, you're not only did you lose flash, you're now behind level 5 or 6. So these are the type of things that you somehow should be very careful with on the international stage here. But this was, against Cinkroff, he's not afraid. He just goes for the play. Not only does he kick Jankos away, he forces Odoamne to ultimate. Look at him here. This is a situation where you feel like you're better than your opponent. You're toying with him, like, okay, now I can go in, get a little dash here. He flashes out, he forces the flash and ultimate. He sees NaeHyun behind him, he's like, okay, I can commit. The Satorius now is much faster in the play. This is not the Satorius that took 6 seconds to teleport into a teamfight that he was already walking to. But now, Tabzz is caught.
And look at this, teleport's coming down. Double TP from Origen. Cooldown time is much earlier. Unfortunately, Tabzz is already dead. And Origen can't do anything else.
No ultimate on Satorius. We gotta go back and see how that happened, because why is xpeke playing behind his AD carry? How does his AD carry get hooked with flash up? And why do then the team, or does then the team decide to pull double teleports with no ultimates on either Zilean or Gragas?
Just as I get excited about Satorius being quicker on the trigger, it's one of the times he shouldn't have pulled the trigger.
I mean, in your excitement, sometimes you can pull the trigger too quickly. Trevor, it happens to all of us.
It does, and it's just something you have to deal with, unfortunately.
Repercussions can be big. There can be understanding from your teammate right there, or sometimes it's the end. And Tabzz they're trading. They're trading into a double CC comp with Peke not body blocking any of the CC. I dare say, Trevor, it was a mistake from Origen bot lane.
Yeah, unfortunate. And that means H2K on the board. Nuclear picks up the first kill. Satorius and NaeHyun say, my bad, just give me a few minutes and I'll be able to TP again.
Yeah, oopsie. They do swap it up though. They push out the bot lane afterwards with the double TP. And they go for rotation here. H2K match, so far so good.
Let's talk about that lane assignment. In the previous game, Origen kind of went aggressive onto the bottom lane and got the Shen ultimate by making a proactive play, right? One of the other options was to lane swap, and that's what we're kind of seeing OG do now. Do you like this play in the context of the team comps?
No, I like swapping it up whenever you get killed in lane, as long as you push out bot first. If H2K wouldn't match here, Origen would get first turret on this play, because they have so much push, and a Kennen alone can't hold. That is the counter to an AD Kennen on the sideline. He wins 1v1 really hard, but 2v1 he is quite useless.
He gets bullied. I think we saw that yesterday as well, actually. All right, death sentence on a Cinkroff. There's no support from H2K.
Yeah, NaeHyun's looking as well. As long as NaeHyun keeps track of Febiven and he gets the inside track, he can always flash into the fight and revive, and then it's a big win there for Origen. But look, like H2K, they're actually defending D-Vision into the jungle, right? They're not giving it away like Origen did earlier with Chei.
H2K defending the entrances. Hawkshot is available for Tabzz, and teleport's available for Odo.
Yeah.
So if OG decide to overcommit, maybe Odo can respond.
Yeah, maybe he can respond, but Satorius needs to cancel that. And that's what he's doing right now. He's playing so far forward. And that's why that gank earlier from Cinkroff matters so much. Because somehow, this counter pick Kennen that was drafted to beat the side lane matchup in a 1v1, which is his sole entire purpose, is now losing in the 1v1 against Satorius because of the snowballs.
Cinkroff, 3-0-1, every single kill. Look at Satorius, even using the ulti to go aggressive.
No, don't ulti him. You need to cancel.
That one, Cinkroff is going to flash forward. There's a flash cleanse available for Febiven. The bombs aren't really finding their targets. Febiven's going to get chunked out and not taken down. Here comes NaeHyun. He's looking for a time bomb, and he's going to be forced to back away. OG, they need to hit those skill shots.
Yeah, incredibly close, but still the pressure, it's enough. Like, killing somebody sends them to base for a while, but just chunking them does the exact same thing, and you can still play the pressure game. Do not agree with the ulti from Satorius in the bot lane, though. Your main role is to never let Odoamne teleport.
But Satorius has been watching challenger teams. He was watching White Knight from PSG, and he pulled off that amazing Gragas under tower kill. Satorius, unfortunately, missed it and didn't quite make it.
Yeah, I mean, if he chunks him and can dive in now with E-Flash, great, you know, then it's fine, but it's quite dangerous. He has no vision of Jankos.
He's gonna go for it.
Oh, Jankos shows
so risky. Oh, that's spicy.
That's what we need. But that's a tilter, by the way. If you now die with a misplay, you just tilted yourself. Congratulations, you just played yourself.
Is what tilt is made of right now. Potentially.
Tilt is made of many things. It's a beautiful recipe here.
Body slam comes forward. Look at Satorius' build. Ninja Tabite plus Chain Vest and Sheen. I mean, he can go toe-to-toe with this Odo and Graves.
I'm a big fatty tank, right? I get Snowball and I get Ninja Tabis. These items are commonly referred to as broken.
Whoa!
That's a tilter for Chei. Like, you can't expect this guy to keep walking. At one point, you have to think that he's actually using his brain when he walks into a brush, right? Like, Chei's like, no, clearly he must not just simply walk out of the brush. That's not possible. Satorius is just, he's playing carefree. And that's the problem. You can't predict Origen right now.
The whole team can play carefree because they're locked into promo tournaments. Here comes Cinkroff. He's got the kick available, but will not find a Sonic Wave. The box gets put down by Chei, and Cinkroff will survive a couple seconds longer. Ignite's not able to kill him. The shield saving his life.
That must mess with Origen right now. They're still getting top and third. Chei is doing everything right here in terms of hooks, but they still get first, third blood.
3,000 gold. Krepo, are you a believer?
I was. I told you this was the game.
You called it. You called it.
I may have been wrong a few times in the road here, but
this time you're not.
I felt it.
Yeah. You've got a win on the books here for Origen. They've only been able to pick up 2 game wins this split. One against Rockout, one against Giants. Will this be the third?
As a Taurus, this is a man possessed. He has been released of any reason whatsoever. H2K, they don't even know where he's going to dodge. Is he dodging even?
Yeah, well,
we don't know.
We don't know. The fact it didn't hit, I mean, that's what matters, right? Skill shot didn't find a target. Tabzz throws out the volley. He's trying to trade with Odo. And looking at the minimap, there's not a lot of vision to really talk about some defensive wards.
They have Hawkshot.
Origen on the top, and obviously the tools of Hawkshot.
All right, Cinkroff, show me the magic.
All right, flash over from Jankos. Very easily secured by OG. Magic shown. Do you approve?
I mean, some simple card trick here. Satorius, he's like, yeah, I can take that hook. That is the problem with Thresh. You need people to help you after you hook people.
Now let's talk about the team comps.
Let's talk about the team comps.
The laning skill disparity did not necessarily pay dividends.
Got them a kill at 2 teleports.
Okay.
But yes, I continue.
Not the same as the brand. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
You know? Didn't get Towel First Blood. OG have swapped away from the lane a couple times.
A nice roasted Peke on the grill.
Do you like the Thresh as we get now into this swing and a miss? As we now get into the mid-game phase, which I can maybe set up some picks?
Yeah, the problem with Thresh in the mid-game, and it's the reason a lot of people, especially in solo queue, suffer from it, is that his kind of role changes because of his hook, right? So like early game, it's fine to go for hook, and if you get somebody, they get blown up immediately. Against this comp particularly, not only will the target not die at all, it won't die, and if it does, Zilean will revive it. And Thresh suffers from the fact that he sees himself as he's channeling, right? So you're combining a hook that generally has like maybe a 50-50 hit rate. You're only going to get it on the front line. You're never getting the back line. Even if you flash in, it's kind of a 1 in 3 chance. You know, forward, left, and right is a direction you got to pick, and your opponent can juke on higher boot speeds as well. So it becomes very risky to play hook Thresh in teamfights. So you change your role and you position backwards, and you become more frontline peel Thresh with lanterns. But that means that's an element of main engage gone, and then it's all up to the kind of nuclear to find the engage, or H2K to kite as a team and force Origen onto an Orianna ball. But they don't have the greatest teamfight themselves, so they can't force. So they're relying purely on Odoamne on this side lane, but he fell behind in the early game.
Fortunately for H2K, Origen kind of want to run at you if they're going to go for the fight.
But they're doing 5v4 and they don't care if they die in the process. Now Satorius is running it.
All right, body slam, not going to find the flash. The barrel goes the wrong direction, and Origen, they whiff the attempt, but I give them points for trying.
Yeah, I think it's a new combo where I don't know if you do the Gragas ulti at the start of the animation or right before, but obviously it travels so slow now, regardless of distance, that you need to do it before you body slam flash. So you kind of throw the barrel, then body slam flash. You need to connect and then knock them away. But Satorius kind of just, yeah, misclicked, I think. But it was an attempt. There was an attempt.
There was an attempt, and Satorius just got unlucky.
Yeah. Finger slipped.
Didn't find the target. Satorius, though, I think some points for effort here. Origen, proactive plays. They're moving around the map. You actually said in Picks and Bans, Krepo, that the team comp, Origen could play the map well. And look at this. Peke.
Here we
go for that empowered W. Flash over the wall. They're going to be happy with that.
Turbo Peke. Gliding through there.
Shockwave used to deny the minion wave. But not the big cannon.
Which actually reduces the armor of the turret. It's really important that you, instead of letting your minions run out, if you could tank instead of just one minion, obviously the turret armor will reduce, and it's much easier to get that turret. And it's another objective that they take. And H2K, we see kind of the lack of productivity in their composition. Their main engage is actually Chei with the hook. He's too far behind, he'll get blown up, and there's the Zilean ulti. And Odoamne just doesn't have the side lane priority that this composition desires.
Chei's behind. Odo's behind.
Chei's not behind.
Chei's less effective. Less effective.
Yeah,
there we go.
I'm defending this Thresh. Right?
No, perfect. But
he can't help it. He can't help it. His mid laner.
There we go.
Like he's playing Thresh. This is like a big champion. Requires even lanes. He looks mid jungle, mid die. He looks top die. Gets complicated.
The game has fallen apart around Nuclear and Chei in many ways. Whereas in the previous game, it was Nuclear and Chei that started the game playing very well.
They're at the core.
Yeah.
But their electrons have gotten very excited. Just like Origen right now, they're excited.
They are excited, and this is now Origen's hardest test. Very rarely do we see them up, 3,000 gold at 20 minutes against, a tough caliber team. So this is where we judge their shot calling.
Yeah, I almost see them sitting in their chest, guys. I think we're ahead. Really? No. Like how much? 3,000. What do we do? While
you are making a joke, I was actually talking about the Fnatic series yesterday against G2 and how Fnatic being in such a close position to beat G2 in the context of the season, how amazing that was. And that Fnatic never had a chance to throw against many other teams of 5,000 gold lead, so they're in uncharted territory. And it changes the entire dynamic of 10 weeks of play. Now somewhat doesn't exist. And
exactly.
This time,
Tabzz doesn't exist anymore either.
Yeah, that death sentence.
No, but I think it's kind of a joke, but it's true. These guys are not used to playing with a lead and snowballing. They had their teleport Zilean on the side lane, and their AD carry was playing forward, trying to get lane prio alone in mid lane, blind, leading to the side that was not warded. Look at it. Origen, double ward, left, front, right? Why was Tabzz leaning to the right side of the lane with flash up, with heal up? He got hit by a Varus that he saw coming, then the hook came from nowhere. Yeah, well, then you can't snowball a lead. Because you need 5 people on the map. You can't play a lead with 4 people.
Just an oopsie, and that oopsie allows H2K more breathing room, more scaling time. Will this Kennen eventually catch up and be able to deal with Satorius, or do you think he's always going to be chasing behind?
No, I think 1v1 eventually Kennen becomes really annoying to deal with. But tanks should always be able to hold. Like, it'll take him a while to get through Satorius, and he can just focus on the minion wave. Yeah.
All right, so where is Satorius at the moment? He's in the top lane, teleport is available. NaeHyun with the rest of Origen starting to group around Dragon. This one will be uncontested, yeah. There's no support.
Yeah, we really need to see xpeke guide like his young team now. Because he knows exactly what people need to do. He just needs to be able to spell it out for them. He just needs to keep an eye on the map and really micromanage people. And I just be with Tabzz. Why was xpeke not with Tabzz there, for example?
Yeah.
Like, when you play for pushing mid lane, you need to be together. It's so many players of Origen right now, they're trying to win the game for their team, right? You saw Satorius go for some of these flashy plays, rather. The same way you see Tabzz is like, okay, I really want to push this wave so we can do the next thing. But occasionally they skip a safety check.
Yeah. Skip one of those small checklist items.
Yep.
And get punished for it. I saw Tabzz using his Hawk Shot into the Baron Pit as OG were on the Dragon. And I'm looking at the minimap. Talk me through vision. What do you like? What do you dislike from... let's start with the Origen perspective as they're clearing out the pits.
Yeah, they're setting up the natural vision, which they have the foundation down, which is that triple control ward that you see. There should actually be a control ward where Cinkroff was right now in that brush, because it's actually... That is the brush that constantly gets rewarded over the wall. And the enemy jungler can't actually hit it that well. Graves can't hit it from over the wall. So he helps you.
In that little banana bush?
Yeah.
Pekka just fired the Q.
Yeah, a little curved banana bush. That's where you want, because you want to challenge the wards that H2K kind of used to peek in. So like that ward that H2K have over the wall right there, it's not being spotted by a control ward, so your control ward in pit should actually be out of pit. Because like, who the hell is going to ward pit, right? Nobody, because they can't even get there. They're always going to be warding over the wall. Right now, they're trying to like pseudo bait with not perfect vision. They only have one sweeper, and that's the problem. They didn't think about what they were doing until they were doing it. They didn't check, guys, how many control wards do you have? How many sweepers do we have? They need somebody to play with a sweeper, and it's actually the mid laner often in this case, because Cinkroff is playing a warding jungler, like a ward hopper, right? Ooh, oh, no, he still got it. I think he still got it.
Yeah, Cinkroff picked it up. Jankos actually threw out the collateral for that one.
Yeah, so like this ward is so annoying. Like you should always notice that it's there.
And of course, the fact that Origen are not clearing out H2K's vision means they're comfortable. We're going to 25 minutes. The gold lead is shrinking, and
H2K placed the vision. They based. They got more vision. They got more items. They waited for Origen to disappear, and now it's a full reset. Which is fine. As long as Origen can repeat it again, they can technically push out mid, but the gold gap is kind of reducing.
Yeah. I mean, that 2,015 minutes, 3,015 minutes, that was sizable. That was impressive. But now it's becoming non-existent, and if you look inside the jungle of Origen...
Yeah, and that's something we talked about last game, right? There are camps up. Now Cinkroff is getting chunked out, because Cinkroff is so busy kind of trying to build his vision game with xpeke, and they're trying to figure out where it's going wrong. They leave their Krugs up, they leave their Gromp up, they leave their Wolves up. Meanwhile, look at Jankos. He's letting his team do the vision game, and he's catching up slowly to the point where Cinkroff, he still has that confidence from the early game. He goes into a fight, he gets hit twice, he's like, oh,
yeah, oops.
I stopped farming.
Yeah, definitely doesn't want to take that damage. Those cheeky wards allowing Jankos also to keep farming. So H2K, they're just very comfortable.
Yeah, so they moved control ward number 1. Great. They have a ward in the second one, but it's constantly being... Chei is just ward duty right now. It's actually quite greedy for him to go for this solo.
Where's the support from the rest of the team? Jankos nowhere near. Just threatening. I mean...
Yeah, and Febiven pushes out mid. And this is the problem. Right now, xpeke and Cinkroff should go to Tabzz, push out with Tabzz, shove that minion wave so far into H2K's faces that they're under the tier 2 tower in the mid lane, and then as a group, deny this vision. These guys are all going on solo missions, and it's only a matter of time until one guy gets caught.
Yeah, especially when you consider chain of corruption, death sentence possibilities,
yeah,
shockwave as well, with Ludens and whatnot, it's going to burst.
Exactly, so this is better. Oh, a support jungle start. Origen.
Risky, risky, risky.
Actually, my German here, but bitte schön.
And ADC in mid, they're now coming up. Tabzz throws out the Ashe onto Jankos. Somehow Pekka is just single-handedly blown up. WTF,
I mean, come on, xpeke, you're in the legacy list of kind of teams that have made the unthinkable happen. You've been in the most clutch games, and then you start Baron with your jungler as Carmelie Sin. Then you die with flash up. What's happening? What happened?
I don't have an answer for you, I'm afraid.
It's just, it's watching your heroes, like find out, like you meet your childhood hero, you know.
Live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
No, it's live long enough to meet them in the grocery store and turn out they were a massive douchebag.
maybe a step too far, but yeah, I mean.
No, not like not douchebag, but the disappointment is similar, right? Pekka is he's a super nice guy. I love Paco, but like, shouldn't die there. Shouldn't start a Baron. Step 1 to every Baron control play is pushing the mid lane as a team.
And because of the missteps, now look at the minimap.
Aye.
Vision from H2K being pushed all the way into Origen's jungle.
And eventually H2K will get ahead, and then we get to judge their Baron control. Which hasn't been the greatest either.
I was going to say, that could also be quite interesting.
I like it though, because I love Baron control as a setup. I think there's a certain beauty to a well set up Baron, a well-controlled Baron vision game.
And as the play-by-play caster, I think there's a certain beauty in the Baron throws.
Oh, yes.
I quite enjoyed those, as I get to yell and scream.
Did you watch the anatomy of a Baron throw?
I did indeed. Personally, it just looks like most of the games I play, so it wasn't hugely surprising. And for Origen,
I liked it though. I think it was clean, concise, and edited very well.
I agree. It's a great series, the breakdown. Personal favorite is still the decision-making between SKT and KT from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a little while back.
A lot goes on.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of options. And it's actually really interesting that we talk about that kind of thing, because this is where we're starting to see Origen falter, right? They're not thinking about every single checklist item or pushing lanes right, setting vision up right, applying pressure correctly, and that's why ePicSkillshot got goofed.
Yeah, but there's still a shot here, you know? They made some errors. They still have the goal lead. Even if Satorius fails here, they still have the okay side lane, because normally at this point in the game you really want this AD Kennen to be putting so much pressure here, and actually Origen are using this moment of aggression here to start the Nasher. They may just want to burst it down here because H2K is very late.
Yeah, but here comes H2K. Look at those flashes. 1, 2, 3 from Origen. Odo's in the back line. He's got no AP, but he's got CC for days. Tabzz is taken down. Cinkroff with a disengaged kick. xpeke is brought back to life by the Chrono Shift and instantly sent to the graveyard.
Satorius isn't here again. Like we saw...
He was on cooldown as well as TP.
Yeah, was it?
He was just on cooldown as the fight broke out.
Okay, I just looked at it right now. And it's unfortunate here. It feels like Origen grasping at straws. I feel like they're further behind than they were. They were even on gold. They had a side lane that was going okay. Now NaeHyun really needs to connect, but bomb's going cooldown. He has nothing left.
No opportunity to steal without those time bombs. Easily secured by H2K. And when we catch a replay of that,
that was a moment of kind of panic, I think, for H2K. The second that gank failed and Origen started the Nasher, that's when you need to be confident in their kind of inability to burst it down. I think Febiven had a really nice move there with the shockwave. It forced like 3 flashes. Then there's also a failed revive here. So look, they're going in. Teleport is on cooldown, as you said. Triple flash here. They need to disengage. I think this is where you get the hell out of dodge. Great flying from Odoamne. It's actually xpeke that gets revived and not Tabzz. But Febiven, again, so much damage. It was the E onto Odoamne to get the fast ball travel into QW. That worked out, and then Jankos flanks in the fight. I think it was a rash move, and the mistake was already made in terms of the setup.
Yeah.
But Origen, they definitely had a great window to get back into this game.
It feels like Origen had that lead, and they had the opportunity to extend it, but didn't necessarily then have the steps or the know-how to make it a reality.
But I think this will be an important game for them.
Yeah.
Because we joke about how often they get ahead. I think there's a good chance they will get to this point in the promo tournament. And having lived through the moments of, oh, where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
Like, Tabzz will now go home like, guys, I need to get this information from you. And then the team will be like, well, Tabzz, we also need you to do this for us. We don't require you to push this lane if you can't. Always save yourself first, right? So don't overextend, don't get picked off. That buys you 3 minutes right there. Then xpeke is like, you know what, we suffer with vision. We'll get back to that later, as Satorius right now is looking for kind of Hail Mary flank. This can actually be a big flank here. Look where it's coming from, on the bottom of your screen.
H2K very stacked up. Satorius with an ultimate, no flash available. Body slam onto Febiven, but the barrel sends Febiven to a wall. Redemption comes down, saving H2K's life, and yes, Febiven eventually dies. Shockwave whiffs ever so slightly. Origen, unfortunately, they are routed and destroyed. Chrono Shift comes back up on Tabzz. It's a 2 for 4.
Yeah, if everybody dies at once, obviously the Zilean ulti goes out of the window because it's just an afterthought, right? So you need to really be able to use it on a tank. But yes, I do think Origen can draw a lot of lessons from this game. H2K, they also play from behind pretty well, calm and collected. But again, great teams will punish you for that early game. And this Kennen side lane pick is being picked a lot here by a lot of European teams. But it's not always coming to fruition.
No, it really is not. We've talked a lot about Origen and the impacts of this series, but let's turn our attention to the victors. H2K now in a 4-on-2, trying to shut down ePicSkillshot one last time. He's killed. as Jankos dies immediately after. Odo and Nuclear take down the Nexus and secure second seed from Group B.
Second seed here for H2K. Obviously, they wanted that bye. They wanted first place. But the Unicorns' kind of late season surge, reminiscent of Splice in summer 2016, honestly, prevented that. They still get the 2-0 on the block, and they are ready for playoffs.
This is a series where H2K was such heavy favorites. And they played game 1 pretty clean. Game 2, they came back from behind. But, like, can they take a lot away from this learning experience? Maybe Chei, Tad, over eager both games?
Yeah, I think they can learn from draft. I think it actually wasn't Chei in the second game. I mean, let's remember, it was Jankos dashing forward.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this is the main problem I've always seen from H2K. Once they commit to a play, it seems very hard for them to kind of hit the eject button and be like, no, you know what? We either it wasn't a great play or we messed up part of the play. Let's get out of it. Yeah. You know? Like that guy from Jankos started out fantastic. He forced a flash, but then he flashed after the guy.
Yes.
Trying to go for a wall shot, not respecting that the enemy jungler could show up, and they gave away 2 kills.
And what was it worth? Jankos, of course, jumping around on the side. We're definitely gonna have to find out what that was about.
I don't even know anymore. Sometimes I just nod and be like, yeah, yeah.
We were joking a little bit about, you know, Jankos saying he's gonna go Super Saiyan. H2K in great spirits before this game because the very strong likelihood they take second seed. And Odo and Jankos, they were saying, well, they don't have a chance to have some fun because this is serious business. You know, there's a seed on the line. There's a possibility of dropping to third if they'd lost. Maybe they can have some fun against Splice on Sunday.
Oh yeah, there's that game.
Yes, H2K and Splice still have 1 series left to round out the split.
Oh, that's actually going to be interesting. I think you'll see kind of an unleashed H2K and also an unleashed Splice. Like Mickey is already asking his coach, pick me Cyan. H2K is looking for some niche picks here. I actually think we'll see a completely different Nuclear and Chei, because I think they played the smart compose style where it's more important not to give away a loss than to chase a win. But if in those series, you can make the hero play. You can go for like flash play hook. If it connects, you can kill him. If it misses, you're quite unfortunately die. But I think we can see that.
They can go for the inconceivable plays when there's nothing left on the line. Okay, so H2K, one series left on the split. Sunday's going to be the expected quarterfinalists. It'll be Fnatic versus Misfits, and it'll be H2K taking on Splice. Now, of course, Fnatic could still lose their playoff seed if Rockets
do the unthinkable
and take down G2, right? So that's at stake in the other group. For xpeke, the spring split draws to a close. He rejoined his team in a support role, 3rd professional role on the LCS stage.
Yeah, but they can definitely learn from like the whole setup, you know, push mid wave together, then make sure you have at least 1 sweeper and you use it well, which means like everybody needs to assist in wall clearing, like support console down, for example. Or you need the double sweep. You need the slight tweaking on the control ward placements, right? These guys know this. When you show them the replay, like it's not like we're smarter, you know? It's just much, much hard to do this in the game. And it's training mechanisms that make it as easy for everybody to get on the same page.
We have full vision, so we can easily point it out instantly. They don't have vision. They also need to communicate across languages and teams and experiences.
And also different like word usage, right?
Yes.
Like it doesn't always mean the same thing. Like the definition of safe, you know, can you push? Like for some people, it's like, yeah, I could, but I don't know if I'm safe or not. Like, are you incorporating all this information? Like that's a thing where you need to practice very much so. We'll find out. Origen take on Fnatic Academy or Misfits Academy next week. Before that, though, we need to wrap up week 10. H2K have locked that top 2 spot with a clean 2-0. Pyrus sitting down with Febiven to talk about it.